That video you just watched was shot and produced 10 years ago. For Amanda, her condition has progressed considerably since that video was shot. It's not easy for Amanda and Max to travel, but they traveled here all the way from California to be here tonight because they wanted to share their story. Please give a warm welcome to my friends Amanda and Max. So, Amanda, we're going to put up a photo. You were at the inaugural gala and auction. Just talk to us about how your life has changed, how your body has changed since that photo was taken and since that video was produced.
So that photo was 20 years ago. I was 20 years old, in college. At that point, I could still go upstairs, go downstairs. I felt I could easily get up by myself. Since then, in the video, I think I'd started using a wheelchair part-time, like outside my house. I worked at universities, so getting around on campus, I was using my chair. And now, since about 2020, I've been relying on my chair full-time, inside the house for everything. So a lot's changed in the last 20 years.
Talk about the day-to-day. What does your day-to-day look like? What are the challenges day-to-day?
At this point, I need a lot of help from Max for daily tasks, getting out of bed. We have some specialized equipment in the house so I can do some things, but I can't cook anymore. So he does most of it, or all of the cooking, the cleaning at this point, helping me with basically getting ready, getting dressed and things like that. So I've lost a lot of my independence.
How has that loss of independence and reliance on Max impacted you emotionally and psychologically?
It's been really hard. For a long time it was really hard to ask for help until I didn't really have a choice. And at this point, I can't, I don't know if I say I can't, but it would be really hard for me to be at home by myself, like for overnight. And historically, I was a very independent person. I like to go out and be spontaneous, and I can't do that anymore. To do pretty much anything takes a lot of planning. To get up and go do something, like if I leave my house, like I have to ration my energy because there are days that I just don't have it. Canceling social plans, things like that, just because I just don't have it in me that day. So.
You talked about just the preparation that it took to come up here on this trip. And,
yeah.
And Max, I know that you guys used to do so many things together. You talked about how you love to cook together. Mm-hmm. So many couples do. How's that impacted you that you haven't been able to do the things that you used to be able to do together?
Yeah, it's difficult. As the relationship shifts and more gets put on you, you have less and less independence from each other, and that's it's sort of the frog in the pot deal where you don't realize it year on year, but we've been married 18 years now, and yeah, and it's slowly your independence goes away. So yeah, it's difficult. It's also fulfilling in a different way, though. You're reliant on each other, and there's a lot of good things in that, I think. But overall, yeah, you don't get to go do the things. I don't get to go take mountain bike trips and things because I can't.
Yeah, you love the outdoors.
Yeah, you can't go take off for a week and leaving home by myself. Like that's just not an option anymore. So that's rough. And same thing for me. Like I can't go do a girls trip or something like that just because I can't do so many things by myself anymore. So.
You're a beautiful couple. You're an amazing couple. Amanda, as you think about where you're at now, mm-hmm. and you think about the future, what is your biggest fear?
I worry that I'll lose what independence I've left, or lose the ability to do things like skiing. Like I go do adaptive skiing, but that still takes some physical effort, and I worry that I'm going to lose that little bit of kind of, I guess, fun and excitement that I have left. If I was able-bodied, I would be a complete adrenaline junkie and do all sorts of stuff. And so, that's hard in itself. But I just worry that I will get to a point where I just don't have a whole lot to look forward to, and that scares me.
Well, you have so much courage. Before we moved into the room, Amanda was showing me this video of her skiing at Tahoe. They live outside of Tahoe. And so that was the photo. If we want to go back, scroll back to that photo. and talk to us about how you're able to do that and watching you do it and navigate two skis without poles with skis really speaks to your balance and your commitment to getting out there and getting after it. No, I was terrified watching it.
Oh, it's so fun. So that's a bi-ski. So I'm basically sitting in a bucket ski, like a bucket seat, and there are two skis underneath me. And where someone has upper body strength, they'd have like arm outriggers. They could help with steering and balance, but I can't do that. So it's all just kind of core, which, I mean, at some point there's a very real chance that I won't have the core strength to do that anymore. But at this point, it's basically shifting weight to turn and leaning, and the instructor has me tethered. So if there's ever a dangerous situation, they can at least stop me, right? I'm not going to run into a tree, thankfully. But what's been really exciting for me personally is that I used to have like a fixed outrigger, which kind of makes you less likely to tip, and I've gotten to the point where I don't use that anymore. And so I really like that because that is a little more independence that I've gained, but I do worry that I'm going to lose that at some point too.
You also have an adaptive bike, and you showed me that. You guys added power steering, so your commitment to getting out there is just so honorable. We're all here tonight, or gathered tonight, to raise money for research. So as you think about the research, what is your hope?
Honestly, if we could get something that would just halt the progression, because then you can plan for the future. Like if you know what to expect, if you know that, hey, this is where I'm going to be. And the hard thing with FSH is you have no idea. The progression is so inconsistent from person to person, from day to day, month to month, year to year. Like you just really don't know what to expect. Like my mom can still do things that I can't, despite obviously being diagnosed earlier than me. And so that's the scary part. I think is just not knowing. And if we could get something that would halt the progression. And I mean, better yet, obviously, like reverse some of it, get some strength back. Like that's the dream, right? Like if I could freeze time to, even when we did that video, I could still do things like cook. I could be home by myself. I could travel, and I wasn't completely reliant on him. And he's great, but it's not ideal to be reliant, Like I would love you to have your freedom too.
It'd be great if you wanted.
No.
Max, you
He
are
would like to.
Yeah.
So.
Max, you are great. You look fantastic tonight. Max, what would your hope be when it comes to this research?
I think the same. I think, like I said, it's kind of like the frog being boiled in the pot, right? They don't really get it. It accumulates over years, but the problem with it is not knowing where you're at now. It's like, I know these are the things I can't do, I can live without that, but it's like, what about these things I like? What if those went away? Those might go away in a year, they might go away in 5 years, they might go in 10 years. Nobody knows. Nobody can tell me. And so it's, because it progresses so different for each individual, so it's, really the giving people predictability in their lives is it's just so important for their mental and physical well-being. And right now, people with FHD don't have that. We all know we're going to age, but to them it's like it's real. It's like maybe next year I can't do this. So that's really where we're.
Well, you asked about like the mental impact too. Like the anxiety has increased as I've lost my mobility and my independence, and a lot of that is just the uncertainty and not knowing what to expect. Because you can't plan, right? You can adapt with what the problems as they come up, but it's hard to kind of plan to deal with the stuff that's going to come up in the future.